Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back after your lovely sunny holidays. Today's assembly is on multiculturalism in the UK, and we're going to try and look at some of the benefits and challenges of immigration within the UK. Firstly, there are some key words that you would need to know in order to understand fully this assembly. That migration is the movement of people around the world, no certain direction, just the movement. Emigration is the act of leaving a resident country with the intent to settle elsewhere. So what I usually say in my geography lessons is E is for exit and E is for emigration. And then immigration is when people come to a different country in order to settle there. So again, I is for into or in, and I is for immigration. So firstly, I'd like to look at a brief history of immigration within the UK. So it has always been a common part of the UK's history and dates back to the Middle Ages, when the Romans, followed by the Saxons, Vikings, and Norman invasions happened. Then there was the slave trade in the 16th and 17th century, which led to quite an established African community within England. Now, obviously, these were forced migrations, not by choice. They resulted in estimates between 10 and 20,000 African people within the UK, and there are even some higher estimates of 14 to 20,000 of those people being within London, which at that time, as you can see, was quite a large percentage of the population in the 18th century. Then in the 20th century, the UK experienced immigration from Jewish refugees in large part after World War II, and then again Commonwealth immigration, particularly from the Caribbean islands, which again was after World War II when the British government enlisted the help of these people to rebuild the country's infrastructure. In the late 20th and 21st century was when immigration really boomed, and this was due to a change in policies by the Labour government in the 1930s. And more currently in 2019, the non-UK born population stood at 9.4 million in the UK. And just to put that in context, London's population currently is 8.7 million. So that's larger than the percentage of the people living in London within the whole UK have not been born here. So I'd just like to give you some figures of immigration within the UK. Now, these are from the 2011 census, which is the most recent data we have. Obviously, there was a census just earlier this year, but we haven't had the results published yet, although I'm very excited. So you can see that in the whole of the UK, it is still quite a large propensity of white, English, Irish, etc. 86% of the whole country is of UK descent. And then, however, if you look at London, it's vastly different. London has the most likely to have other ethnic groups living in it. For example, you can see there 58.4% of all Black people within the UK actually live in London. 35.9% of all Asian people within the UK live in London. And you can see some more statistics there. And here's just a visual representation, not exactly the same year, so 2010. But you can see that within London, 58% of the population are white British. So you've got that very almost half of the population within London are not UK born. So some of the benefits of immigration are here in front of you on the page. And these are theoretical ones, but they do hold true in example countries. And they're usually to do with workforce employment. So kind of bolstering up that employment, providing more jobs, filling vacancies, having more of a spectrum of jobs filled. And the idea that even immigrants can start their own businesses and create even more growth for the economy. Now, what I'd like you to do is watch this video on the impact of immigration within the UK, and it is even post-Brexit, so it's quite significant. And teachers, if you could just click the YouTube link that is in the PowerPoint, and once it's finished, we can continue with this. Thank you. So as we can see, it's quite a complex issue. And obviously, on the other hand, we do have some challenges. And again, some of them are listed here. And they tend to be to do with the movement and trying to mix with language and cultures, and that this can be a challenge. However, the government is really capable of making policies that would allow immigrants and a nation's population to mix in a positive way that celebrates both cultures and traditions. Some of the examples are here, and they range from more extreme to more positive toleration. So separation is exactly what it sounds like, a policy that suggests people of different ethnicities have little in common and should keep separate. Assimilation is a policy that expects the immigrants to lose their culture completely to adopt the style of their host country, while pluralism, being the most even, is a policy that expects ethnic groups to participate and contribute in their host country, yet maintain their own identity. So we've got a definition for multiculturalism on the board here. And if you'd like, it would be really interesting for you guys to take a moment now and discuss perhaps one of these two questions on the board. So how can we help promote positive multicultural society, considering our context that we live in London? And then, do the positives of immigration outweigh the negatives? And if you think so, then why? Thank you for listening.